Welcome to Speaking of the Voice podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Dell'Aria, voice actor, DJ, and hypnotherapist. I'm fascinated with the voice, where it comes from, how we heal it, and how we can use it to better express and connect with ourselves and others. This podcast is a collection of conversations exploring the voice, different tools to heal it, what happens when we connect to our most authentic voice, and how we can courageously create profound impact individually and collectively by speaking up from a heart-centered place. Thanks for joining me here. I hope it helps you heal and empowers you to use your voice in a more authentic way. This is very cool that we're connecting and having a conversation in this framework. Super pumped to pick your brain. So Seraphina is also a hypnotherapist amongst many other healing modalities that she does. And we recently met in a breathwork specialist course. And once I found out she was a hypnotherapist, I was like, we need to have a conversation at some point. And so it happened, and here we are. But there's many things that you do that I didn't mention, and I'm not even going to give an attempt to list them all. So Seraphina, please, little intro of yourself.
Hello. So I like to think of myself as a transforming presence practitioner. So I love trance state in all forms. There's so much potential there. And I think that's our common grounds that we'll be speaking for and a passion of ours. So trance state has shown up for me not only in hypnotherapy, but dancing. I've danced on stilts for over 25 years for big events and elaborate costumes. And I've been in the healing arts. I would say massage and body work was my entrance in. I used to give my mom massages when I was 5 years old when she was in massage school. I had two aunts that were also therapists. And so body work is just so intuitive that it has allowed me to be able to read a person and tune into them in this way. So I'm also interested in how we can work with somebody even without touch. So hypnotherapy, breath work, such an incredible bridge to conscious and subconscious mind. I'm also really interested in integrating breath work into our movement. I'm a Qigong practitioner, so a lot of moving meditation is essentially combining breath work with intention, movements, and different healing modalities that I practice. All are utilized by breath. So I'm here in Los Angeles. I'm working primarily as a body worker, breath worker, and I'm also starting a retreat company called Intuit, where I help enhance intuition amplified in nature's vortexes.
I love the title. Nice. Oh my God, you're a wealth of so many modalities. I'm very excited to dive deep, and trance state is also something that I've been tapping into more consciously and more intentionally in my holistic side of endeavors. Something I think that I've tapped into personally for many years, which has led me here. And this is part of why you started the breathwork course.
I definitely want to bring my focus and attention to retreats. I love the idea of going on vacation for a living and taking people with me while hiring specialists in different fields to educate us on what is most transformative in life, and a place to bring in some of the other modalities I didn't mention as float therapy, aerial somatic therapy. And so using the elements in all ways is just so wonderful in paradise locations. So that's where I
Wow.
want to spend my time. And it's really about this bliss bubble that exists when we go on a retreat or we even just go one-on-one with a practitioner. There gets to be this world that we create together with our clients, right? Where
Mhm.
almost anything's possible,
Yeah.
especially you and I know that anything is intention and mind, and that we have this control panel that can influence our whole life. And so this bubble of reality is where I want to be, and to be with others so that we can create our own reality in a way that feels good for the nervous system and is an exciting life of valuing our time in creating the world we want to live in and focusing on what we want to. focus on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The breath is so transformational and really the bridge I'm finding to get into these deeper states of consciousness, especially the subconscious. You mentioned wanting to use breath work and Qigong. Have you successfully applied that or found ways to apply what we've learned so far in the program to that practice?
It's so ingrained already.
Hmm.
I definitely see that every movement is initiated by a breath.
Mm,
So one movement is the inhale, another is the exhale.
sure.
And then you could play with little modality or little enhancements of we do sometimes a sip in on dynamic. We know that we can increase a breath hold. So while holding a posture, we can stack so many different breath techniques. So you can get really creative if you wanted to put a box breathing or zipping or foundational, you can do it. And I actually was already in a Qigong practitioner training that integrated, it was a breathwork training as well. So
Oh, great.
we had a whole set of breathwork aligned with White Tiger Qigong is what I've been practicing. So high impact healer and Qigong, it's all based on ancient breathwork
Yeah,
practices anyway. And we have different names for them, but there's so many commonalities with the different cultures and origins. So yes, every day.
incredible. How is are you still practicing hypnotherapy? I think you mentioned you were doing it years ago. Are you still
Right.
practicing now?
So when you get engaged with hypnotherapy, you understand the signs of trance.
Yeah.
So as therapists, we know that when a person's jaw is relaxed and their lips are slightly parted, they're going to be more relaxed overall, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we know when the rapid eye movement occurs, or maybe they're licking their lips, all different signs, tools, understanding in the trade, right? So here are my clients on the massage table. They're in trance. And
Hmm.
so I do hypno massage. So I love it because I used to spend a lot of time with somebody in an armchair and a recliner, getting the person to go into the trance. And there was a lot of talk and lead in and exercises. I've cut all that out because while I'm giving somebody a massage, they're so open and receptive
Hmm.
to suggestions as I was trained when you're in subconscious state and trance for hypnotherapy. Every suggestion is 9 times more
Stronger. Yeah.
impact on their behavior, right? So I can just simply drop something in. I could do a little bit of technique while they're on the table if they want. And so that's just an option that my massage clients have. And so it's not a formal hypnosis session, but
Mm.
I definitely have a client that stopped nail biting in 2 massages.
Wow. Can you share a little bit more about that? That's a very cool and specific.
Example.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So one technique in hypnotherapy that I love to practice is going from one extreme to another extreme. And I actually use this in just my own personal self development and wanting to work through things. So whenever we have a challenge or a difficult emotion or thing that we want to change, it's actually good to acknowledge it and feel it all the way
Hmm.
and then feel the opposite.
Hmm.
So you say, let's give an example. It could be just somebody being frustrated. And so I'm so frustrated. Go ahead and feel that frustration, bring it up all the way. Like, let's get it to a 10 if you can. And then give a good little amount of time to fully feel the frustration. And now let's just feel the opposite. So, what's the opposite of frustration? Maybe it's satisfaction or
Hmm.
peace. Okay, now let's feel that. And what happens is when you give the person the chance to experience both extremes, then the whole situation ends up collapsing
Yeah.
and neutralizing a lot more. So that's something easy to do while somebody's on the table. Uh,
Hmm.
Nail biting, since I brought that up, I was taught in hypnotherapy school is often sibling rivalry. And so I'm very interested when people say they bite their nails. I want to ask them right away. And so far, 99% of the people that I've personally got to interview about that have had some childhood history where the siblings were favored in a certain way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating. It,
Interesting little tidbit.
truly. Yeah, I didn't know that. It's so fascinating to me what the presenting problem is and what the root is, and then to track patterns through different clients and different situations and life experiences with that. Um, yeah, that's something I work with my clients in their sessions too. When an intense emotion comes up, is really allowing them to feel it, inviting them to really feel it, and then also giving them tools in the moment to release it. Because I was trained more so to uncover the belief and then kind of pocket that. And then there's like a certain point in the session where we we look at all of the beliefs or all of the moments that have to do with the presenting problem, and we draw like a common denominator, like, okay, so what is all of this saying? But I'm like, just to consciously know that doesn't necessarily release the emotion, which is what the body is understanding. So it's like the belief has everything to do with how we're showing up in the world, but if that emotion is still trapped there, there's still something that needs some attention. So in the polarity of feeling it fully, it allows you to release it and then reorganize yourself and arrive to the other side of it, as you're explaining, like the peace, the frustration versus the satisfaction aspect of it. When those clients are on the table, though, you're really just working with the sensation, the feeling versus the conscious belief, yeah? Or do you also incorporate some dialogue and talking about what's underneath the emotion as well?
It's kind of nice to do less talking if we're
Yeah,
comparing body work and recliner in the office sessions.
totally.
Uh, so, one example that's really relevant and that I tend to use the most is if I feel a presenting issue in the body and starting that way. So,
Hmm.
perhaps somebody hasn't presented something that they want to work on hypnotherapy wise, but I feel a knot in the back.
Hmm.
And a really powerful process that I've just intuitively come to is when I feel the knot, step one, breathe into it,
Hmm.
give it space, feel the perimeter of it, give it spaciousness. It's calling your attention, it's been there. And back is back burner issues, things that we didn't have time to feel in life, we put back there. And that's what pain is. Pain is a signal of, hey, this needs some feeling and attention. So we're going to get your attention by giving you attention, right? So that's what pain is.
Mm.
And I think all trauma is really just an unfinished emotion. And that's where, for example, the breathwork journeys that we're involved in doing, that's the beauty of that, is that you get to finish these little traumas, which could be trite in somebody else's eye. It doesn't have to be something significant. But if we don't finish feeling it, then we're holding on to it. And then it literally manifests as a lack of flow and a blockage in the body.
Yeah.
So here we have the knot. We're giving space. We're breathing into it. And then we also treat it like a child. How are you? What are you feeling? Do you have a message for us? Do you have
Mhm.
something that you want? What would you like? So I like to think of what ways of acting and ways of thinking. So action and the way we think about something really dictates a lot of our belief system and how we handle things, right? It's one thing to just manifest something, think about it. But really, if we change our thinking, we change our actions,
Mhm.
then we're going to have true results, right? So talk to the knot like your child. What do you want? Do you have any requests?
What do you
Okay.
need?
Yeah. What do you need? And so sometimes, and I also like to give room for nothing to happen.
Mm.
Some people are really tuned in and they're going to have something, and some people are so blocked that they're not. So whether
Mhm.
something comes or not, it's a soft invitation. Let's see if there's a message.
Is this a
Okay.
nonverbal inquiry?
this is me asking for some communication. So it could be a nod from them or a few words. So I'm speaking.
Mm.
They're generally pretty relaxed and breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps they'll give me a self-care cue. Oh, well, it, it's asking that I take more pauses in between my busy schedule because everybody's go, 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 go. So some people used to really enjoy that, and now they're learning that they want more recovery and downtime. So that's a common answer
Sure.
to why something's showing up, right? Oh, I need a little bit more. Okay. So let's breathe into that now. So now we're giving space to the message. So it's I see you, I feel you, I hear you. Go ahead and breathe.
Mm.
And I can't tell you how many times that knot disappears in my hand.
Yeah.
I've had knots go so somebody had for 10 years just melt in my hands when I just call it. And it might be that process, or sometimes I just get an intuitive exclamation or something. Sometimes I just voice something and the body's like, oh, you hear me. Okay. I can stop holding on and trying to signal you. Let's let it go. So that's going to be the most common way that I think of when I say hypno massage. So one of the other modalities I didn't say is I do Tsang, which is a Taoist stomach massage. And so that's where I mostly got in touch with working on the knots or tension in the stomach, relieving symptoms. And what's really interesting about that is we incorporate EMDR and eye movement into that process to release the feeling. So my little dummy,
Hi.
this is Cheetah Habibi. I can literally give her a similar stomach massage that I do on people because I've learned Song. So we want flow and blood flow. So she's going through something. I can do a clockwise circle. I can do a little rock and shake. And I can help her be emotionally calm. Or if you go to the bathroom, if she has, sometimes if something isn't agreeing with the stomach, or just so I get her used to our little massage, and I can literally feel the same organs is on us and do it's really cute.
It's
Give her
very cute. It's fascinating. She has the best life. She doesn't even know.
That's right. And she's much more calm, I think, because I'm calm, and that's what I love is being able to share presence with people and animals around us so that when we do these techniques and work with ourselves on these things, how that ripple effect really changes the environment of how people show up for us and with us. And
Sure.
that's another fun thing to do, by the way. Okay. So
Please.
breath work, since we like to study breath work, you can literally play with, I don't know if you studied NLP, so neuro linguistics programming, they have mirror and matching. And you can combine mirror and matching with breath work. So you could literally stand behind somebody at the grocery store line and take a look at their body position and their breath.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start to sync your breath with somebody else when you're talking to them, they're going to be so much more open to you. So first, maybe they're standing like this. You could literally go up to them and match their movement, match their pace of breathing. And all of a sudden, they're so much more comfortable with you and
Wow.
they can relate to you. So fun tangent of breath work.
Totally. That's my new party trick, but I'm not telling anyone.
I'm spilling all the secrets today.
I appreciate it. No, but also you're highlighting some things that I've already been doing intuitively that you're kind of giving a name to. And I've noticed too, the more breath work I do, the calmer that I am and the more presence I have to give people. And that ultimately at the end of the day, which I've known this, but it's in a different practice lately, is that people really just want to be heard and seen and whatever part of them that is being expressed, it just to be given space to be there. So a few days ago I met a new group of friends and this one guy who was pretty attractive, but I wasn't engaging with him because he was attractive. And so it was interesting to see how that mask presented itself and then was stepped aside. And then after a few hours of just sitting next to him, not saying anything, but just sitting and listening and just fully, like really fully listening, so that when there was a pause, I just ask an appropriate question and then another 20 minutes of talking. And by the end of us chatting like this for a little bit, how relaxed he was and how comfortable he was in me. And I could see a different kind of curiosity about him towards me that had nothing to do with, again, these masks that we put on, or and throughout the whole thing, I'm like, he doesn't feel hurt. Like he has all of these stories and experiences, and he doesn't feel like anyone sees like the wisdom and the experience that he has. And whether it's applicable to me or not, what if I just share that presence with him? That in and of itself is so powerful, but a majority of us don't have the bandwidth to even hold space like that. Which again is what brings me back to breathwork, because it's just like, it seems so simple, but it's so profound and so powerful. What is surprising you the most about our breathwork course so far?
I'm I think it's been a personal challenge. I've been surprised by the challenge of it. How much conditioning that somebody who has worked with breath work 20 years ago with my hypnobirthing clients. I've done so many trainings. I'm very aware of integrating breath work in such interesting ways in life. But it's been really hard to strengthen my lungs. And I don't know what's going on with my lungs. So um, it does, it works to take time and repetition and strengthening. So I love learning, because sometimes I could go into something, I think I know a lot about it. And of course, the more you learn, the more you don't know. So what's surprising me is the vast potential of not only what we can do with this, but what it takes, and how much creativity and how much, um, I mean, I used to want to call it breath play, but it's breath work. It is work, and it takes work. And so I'm seeing how much work I want to do on myself to improve my breath holds. And, um, I think in this culture, we want fast results. We want to do something. Did it work? Am I better yet? And as hypnotherapists, we kind of get that. In working with people after one session, we honestly often get a radical report back. And then the art of a good hypnotherapist is, can you keep those results going if the client's going to keep on booking? But a lot of times, 1 to 3 sessions, and we've got some traction and movement. But discipline and a practice takes a lot of daily time. So we've had this fun agitation and high impact healing to do dynamic breath work. And you came back with some great stories. I heard that was it jujitsu that you're doing? So I was like having a little FOMO. I was like, Alicia's getting all of these results and she's really feeling it. I'm doing it. And I want those results. So the invitation was, do dynamic breath work every day. So I'm sure you've told your listeners about it, but quick
No,
recap.
please.
Similar to Wim Hof, but we have our own. I mean, we could get into what is dynamic, and that would be another. But basically, we're every day doing conditioning to expand our lungs, and there's stacks of benefits I'd love to tell you about. But we're doing controlled, rapid, hyperventilating breaths, and then we're
Holotropic
on
breathing.
breath holds. So in that time, it's taken me some time to get the results of me feeling like it's worth my time to do it. So week 1, I was like, I like having a discipline. This is great. Week 2, all right, maybe I feel more present. Maybe I feel starting to feel things. But then week 3, wow, then I could start to list the results of actually feeling like I'm getting the numbers up on how much time I can hold my breath. Because
Wow.
that's really fun, is when you can measure it. But it took at least 3 weeks for me to feel really excited about the impact that it was having in my life. And so that was a little bit of a surprise, because oftentimes you can do something for 1 week, 2 weeks, but like any kind of exercise, it's going to take a while
Sure.
to build those muscles. And so the work in breath work, and then also we have all these different practitioners that are on the calls with us and our coaches, and being able to see the interesting different ways that you can apply it in helping different groups. Especially talking to Jenny about the fighters, which is something that I really want to be able to do, and being able to study different trades and see how we can impact them is um, so exciting. And that was a little surprise of how much it can help the fighters.
Yeah, that's
Of
also a
course.
fascinating area.
Oh, sorry, I'm
Please,
just real
please.
quick. Like, how many people don't breathe with their stomach? Like, you would
Huge.
think that that's what all athletes, of course,
Yeah.
singers know you have to sing, breathe. But I'm surprised that not all athletes are already hip to abdominal breathing. That was
Right.
another surprise.
Same. Absolutely the same. Shocked at how powerful just foundational breath is, just into the belly, chest, and head through the nose, and that's more than enough. That is such a powerful practice in and of itself
Yeah.
before you even touch holotropic breathing, or even sonic neural, which we will do later. We'll circle back to that. But I just want to let you know, it's so funny because I did have those breakthroughs in like the first week and a half, couple weeks of the program. And just to expand your reference, I was rolling with somebody at jujitsu practice and was able to maintain really uncomfortable and what can I say? Like, I upset him because I put him in a choke, and then he went all macho man on me and started just sitting on me and squishing me in ways that's like not even jujitsu. But I was able to maintain myself because of my ability to breathe, which is coming straight from my daily practice. I will tell you something I haven't shared in the group is that I feel like I've had a bit of regression in my breathwork practice in the last few weeks. I'm not sure if that's because I'm in a different climate. I'm not sure if it's because maybe I stopped like the consistency of it. Um, but I will tell you that it's been an invitation to listen to my body within the framework that we're given. I'm not always in a place throughout the month that dynamic breath work is the best breath work practice for me. And there's definitely a side of me that's like, "Okay, I got to check this off today," that I'm like, that's not the thing to check off today. Even this morning, I sat down to breathe, and I'm at a point in my cycle where it's totally fine to be doing all the holds and all of that. My first round was so strong. My second round was also strong. My third round was okay. My fourth round, I could barely hold that exhale for like 20 seconds. And instead of self-punishing, I just listened to my body and allowed myself to inhale when I really couldn't hold it anymore, and then hold it on the full as long as I could, and then let go of the time and really be with the experience. And I absolutely had some sort of like, I could feel the dopamine like hitting my body and rippling down. And I was like, whoa, I'm high. Like, oh, okay, so today wasn't even about the breath hold being this amount of time. Whatever my body is sitting with or however it's feeling, like that was more than enough. And that in and of itself felt like the breakthrough. So it's also this, um, again, like listening to the body, showing up to the practice, but determining which practice is right for you that day, and what that practice looks like. And then redefining success, which has been my overarching theme all week in a professional sense. But has been really looking at success and letting go of comparison and traditional routes, and really listening to my own intuition on what I need to do for myself. So that breathwork practice specifically this morning was such a beautiful reflection of exactly what I've been experiencing in my dreams, and then other things in between, all the things, and you start getting like little messages coming through and ideas and thoughts. This breathwork practice really mirrored that. I'm like, okay, I'm listening in an even deeper way. Um, I don't think it's supposed to look like this. And especially like that, and how it's been like this for me has been a lot more informative, and also makes me understand and have more patience and empathy for people that I'm guiding, because I recognize like, oh, you are a man, you showed up today, you should be doing it like this with your lungs. And then maybe that's just not where man is at that day.
Some days
Are different than
it's a
others.
different experience. You're not, you kind of see that you could use different practices or style of breath work. And I think it's also interesting to take on a challenge of doing kind of a hardcore, rigorous breath work routine and using that as a gauge of how am I doing today? Wow, am I not so regulated and am I kind of tired out? And giving tolerance to not tolerance, but acceptance of it might come out a different way than another day. So, how do you measure results? And not necessarily the length of the breath hold. That just happens to be something I definitely know I need to improve in life. But wow, we are so different every day. Sometimes our capacity is tapped. Our cup is already full. So we don't do as well on the breath work, but it's not really doing well or not doing well or long. It's actually just the showing up and doing it. And how fun that we have this regular practice of dynamic breath work that's not only helping our physical performance, helping us be resistant to getting colds or sick and antibacterial and anti-inflammatory and immune and maybe more libido, they say, and we're more mental. So we get all these benefits, but even if we don't do it that well or it's a little harder, doesn't mean that's not the right medicine for you that day. It's just showing you, oh, I'm a little more tired. I'm a little more overwhelmed. I have so much going on that this is difficult. But just because it's difficult and it doesn't go to a large capacity like before doesn't mean we shouldn't do it and there isn't advantages. It's another way of reading and tuning in. How am I doing today? Oh, wow. I really can't hold my breath at all today. Well, what's going on? Is it the environmental air quality in LA? Maybe. Is it, being stressed out driving around Hollywood? Possibly. Is it that I just saw a bunch of clients? Okay. So I think that the breath work, it's always good to do, and doing dynamic is always great. And it's how you do things in life, oftentimes. So do you want to do it more slow, a shorter amount? And so I'm interested in when resistance comes or judgment comes, because I think do breath work every day if you can. It's a privilege. It's always good. And sometimes you will have shorter breath holds, more resistance, but that doesn't mean it's not the best thing in the world for you to do. Like always do it if you can. And sometimes I'm just too tired, and I'm too hungry. But then once you do it, it gives you energy and you get through it. It's actually usually most of the resistance is kind of a story in the end because it actually feeds you. And there's so many times I'm like, I'd rather have a meal, but this is the only time I'm going to get dynamic in. And I'm okay once I get going and do it. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Also, the more breath work that I have in my arsenal, the more that I'm gauging, like, maybe today's not the day to sit up and do dynamic. Maybe really what I need is to like lay down and slow everything down. Like Coach Jenny has said in a couple of Zoom calls, like she's a very fast person. So it's not always in her best interest to do dynamic, where it is more of the relaxing techniques. Like that's an example of her meeting her with what she needs that day. And just that permission too from someone who's guiding us in our program is like, okay, especially as women, like, okay, maybe I'm not there today and I'm more here. And can I be okay with that? Yeah, this is also where I'm really curious and excited about sonic neural.
Okay, so today's Friday. We have been talking about sonic neural in our high impact healer course for quite a while. So this is highly anticipated.
Yeah.
And we've done the conditioning, we've done the relaxation breaths, we've done the activation breaths, we've done the muscle building, and now we get to do the freedom journey experience. So I've never done sonic neural. I have done something very similar a lot. And let
Okay.
me tell you, it
Please.
compares to plant medicine. Like the journeys that I have been on have been Sometimes a download come, a fireball.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I talk to somebody on my journey and then I finish the journey and there's a text from them. So direct communication to somebody's spirit, messages, memories, hallucinations, origins of past injuries that have actually passed, past life regressions about an injury that reoccurs in this life.
Really? What kind of
So
breath work were you doing?
something that I think is very comparable to what you get to do tonight and I get to do tonight. So there is another level of freedom, as we're calling it in our third pillar, breath work, that is more of a journey that we go on. So we've done the practices, which is great for warming up and toning and breath. But now we're embarking on an actual journey led by our body. So we're going to do, let's say, an hour-long session tonight that is going to be a steady breath, continuous. And the whole experience is going to be guided with peaks and arcs that the music will create. So we're going to have the opportunity to relax, most likely build up, release, integrate. That's going to be an educated guess. I'm also, like you, new to what sonic neural is. And there's all these names, but there are some commonalities in holotropic, rebirth, conscious connected breathing that I'm pretty familiar with. And this is going to be an opportunity to be curious about your body sensations. This is a journey where your body is going to lead your experience. So if we just keep with the breath and stay curious and not trying to judge, fix, or change pain, tingling, prickly, technique, all these things that the body can do become our host and guide of possible downloads, possible emotional releases, possible learnings, possible attunement. So all these things that, as I was saying earlier, if we don't finish an emotion, it's still in our breath capacity. And it's so the more sonic neural breath work we do, the more we're opening up our everyday capacity, because we have this emotional storage unit that gets into our breath. So if somebody is really, let's say, rude to us and we're in a social situation where we want to keep composure and be polite and graceful and eloquent, we might not express how that interaction felt. So we carry it and hold it. So while we're on this neurosonic journey, we might not have to have the story of that one thing that happened, but we might feel the emotional reaction of it. So it can be this crazy wide range of all these different emotions happening one after another, or not. There can be changes in body temperature. So if we're maybe feeling cut off or kind of depressed about something, we might be cold. If there's inner rage or anger about something expressed, we might get hot. The inhale is kind of this will to live, and the exhale becomes this surrender. So are you able to surrender and let go? So there's so much potential. But even if you just had a really chill experience, wow, breathing for an hour is such a gift to oxygenate your body. So we go in with some kind of expectations of fireworks and is this going to happen? But is it? How's your capacity today? What are you available for? I didn't sleep much last night. Is that going to mess me up? I don't know. We don't know what's going to, like, I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow and see how it's going. And it's like you can create intention for a journey. And I used to work in childbirth. So you can do all these preparation for the birth, but then ultimately it's going to be a surrender. And what's going to happen is what's going to happen because you're dealing with a baby, and our baby is our body. All those unanswered, unexpressed things. Which one is going to feel safe enough to come out, and how is it going to come out today? I remember I did a breathwork journey in the water, which is a whole nother conversation. And I spent an hour processing a pet that had died. And I was so left field. That was so long ago. And how beautiful that I got to do that. So it can be a little random of what comes up. You're like, I want my fear of success. And then like, oh, you're processing your dead snake. Okay. um hold on. Yeah.
All that
So,
was said, so like I have very little to add except my own personal experience is that I don't really know what to expect with sonic neural. Those are my best guesses as well. Um, I have no expectation. It could very well just be very relaxed. It could be emotional. It could be downloads. It could be, I haven't had past life regression in my breath work before, but I've definitely gone in with intention. A few months ago, I went in the intention of really unpacking like why I had certain resistances to acting again, which has been my first love. And I ended up by having this moment on a beach with a white horse and my uncle at 27. He was 27 in this like breathwork journey. And then hugging him and crying and realizing that what was dissolving was guilt that I had around part of my relationship with my father. And that actually contributed to why I'm, resistant for acting to be its own success. Just so fascinating how you go in with this thing and this happens and it still has everything and nothing to do with the thing. But the whole thing is like afterwards you just feel better. Um, I stopped smoking 6 months ago and really replaced my smoke breaks with breath work. So I every day that, especially in those first few weeks to a month, I was sometimes doing twice a day. I would lay down and do a longer breathwork journey, which the video is called like 45 minutes of like DMT breathing or something like that. That is 20 minutes of breath work and then 20 minutes of integration. And this is where I was having like really profound, deep inner journeys. I've done multiple cord cuttings. I had the logo for my podcast came through in a breathwork journey. I was feeling creatively a little like, what would I do? And I'm like, let me do some breath work around this. So I sat down and the image came like flooding through. And not always after the breath work, sometimes during the breath work, it would start to come through. Or maybe I'd be 10 minutes into the breathing of the 20-minute session and would just start weeping uncontrollably and then kind of fall asleep in the integration or in such a deep trance that I'm so relaxed. I'm just out of the way. I've never had one of these breathwork journeys that's the same. And my curiosity is much like yours, is it going to be the same in sonic neural? But I will say this, I don't think I've ever breathed for an hour for like a 55 minutes.
you
So
know,
I'm
even if we
curious.
even if we had already done sonic neural, no two sonic neurals are really going to be the same
Facts.
either. So it's always kind of a new experience. And that's what's beautiful about it, right? Every day is a
Yeah.
different day and a different you. Um, as much as you can get out of your way to let that be possible. So I guess going into it, we're going to stay really engaged with the breath work. So, like,
Mhm.
what's the advice that we're going to give ourselves and coach ourselves so that we can get the most out of it? So, I often think the more you give it, the more you get.
Hmm.
So, when you really stay engaged with the breath work and eliminate possible distractions, some people might thrash around a little bit,
Mhm.
and that's okay. But is it distracting you from it, or is it you expressing?
Right.
Um,
Mm.
when I was doing rebirth breath work for 21 days in Costa Rica, we were also in a secluded nature reserve in the jungle. So I mean, it was a freak scene. People were screaming and things were happening. I don't know if we have the capacity that for that in our different settings of where we all are on our Zoom calls. So how open you give yourself permission to
Permission.
express
Yeah.
or feel or to follow is going to also really make your journey unique and
Absolutely. I mean, I'll be muting, not because I'm afraid of anyone hearing me, but because I don't want any experience I'm having to interrupt anyone else's. That could be really jarring, but I've sat in plenty of ceremonies where some very interesting noises are happening and you just maintain your focus. So Yeah, I welcome your call of action of just like the more you give, the more you get. So it's like a delicate balance between doing it, really showing up and doing the work, and then also really listening to the body and what the body needs. Um, I have like an old injury in my right foot, and sometimes when I'm doing breath work, I get like twitchy. And I've learned over the last few months of this happening consistently to let my body twitch, and that feels better than trying to be still. And ultimately, what I've learned from that sensation experience in my body is that it's the body trying to reorganize and realign. So the twitching and like letting my foot jump is like a way that the energy is releasing out, like whatever's been stuck there. And then I'm able to actually settle out again, very much like you said, feeling the frustration fully, and then allowing the pendulum to swing back to the side of satisfaction. So it's like letting that whatever that is to feel and be felt and express fully, and then the peace returns, and the neutrality, and then on to the next thing, right? So, and also just like meeting each breath, not getting ahead, because I think it's easy to, is this almost over? But I really enjoy the trance state of just staying in the rhythm with the body and just like, they'll tell us when we're done. When we're done, we're done. We're not done yet. So we keep going. Keep going.
Right. Just being present in the moment
Yeah.
without figuring it out too much and let it happen. I will say the biggest regret I had with my past journeys is maybe not writing enough
Mm,
sharing after, because it's
mm,
very much like a dream, the journey. We
totally.
can forget um, some of those great moments. So that's nice to talk about for intention right now.
Oh man, I love that you said that. I was thinking that just yesterday, that I did so much breath work around self-worth in February, and then around safety in the body in March and April. And it felt like I would never forget it when I was experiencing it at the time. But now it's coming up again in different conversations with clients. And I'm like, dang, I wish that I had had the specific journey that I took so that I could just at least use it as a structure. Some things I did write down and even put into a meditation to guide other people. And I have done that, and they've had beautiful breakthroughs as well. So it's all a gift, right? Whatever inner journey that you're having, it's unique to you. So I know that for me, it's very detailed and very visual a lot of the time. So to put that down, to transcribe it, and then to use it as an offering is definitely an intention that I have with High Impact Healer and the work that we're doing. So, man, I can't wait to hear about your experience.
Whoa. Like we're at
Yeah.
outer space.
Oh, for sure. For maybe beyond, you know? He's like, I wish you beautiful practice tonight, and beautiful releases and realizations, and all the raw and the courage and the boldness to you to experience all the raw and the edgy that comes up. And I'm really excited to dropping back in and continuing our conversation. Thank you so much for sharing and your time. This has been really cool.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Yeah.